Okay, it's been 3.5 days since my last video, and I fully intended this morning on putting this 36 cell pack into a 12 volt configuration and connecting it up to the 100-watt solar panel. And I didn't do that for a couple of reasons. First of all, as the sun was starting to break this morning, I could see it was pretty cloudy outside. So I decided not to do it because I wanted full sunshine on the solar panel. And the other reason I didn't charge these this morning is they're kind of all over the place. I checked them with the Innova earlier today, and the voltage is surprisingly up and down on these. I'm really kind of surprised, and it appears that the cell that I thought had the problem, the one that dropped, is indeed dropped again. It looks like it's dropped about 4/10 in the 3 days that it's been sitting. So that's bad news, but I'm going to check it all again in the morning and put this in the 12 volt configuration like I plan to, and we'll get it connected up to the solar panel and at least get all these cells brought back up over 3 volts. And as you can see by a little time lapse I shot this morning outside my front door, the clouds cleared away pretty quickly. This is about a 2-hour time lapse here. So I indeed could have charged by solar this morning. It would have been just a little bit later. Okay, it's the next morning now, and it's just about time to get this 36 cell bank connected up to the solar panel. I went ahead and checked all the cells, all 36 cells with the Innova, and the bad battery that I talked about before has dropped 2 more tenths. So it's pretty much no good, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the pack and I'm going to charge it all up. But I'm not going to store it connected. None of these are going to be connected to each other during storage time. So it's just one last attempt to maybe try to save it. And I'll have to talk more about that later. So I've got the Innova hooked up right now. I went ahead and added all my magnets and nickel strips, and as you can see I've got a big mess of wiring here. It's kind of unsafe because I could have a short if any of these touched, but what I've done is I've got 3 banks that are in parallel, and I've connected them up so that they're all in parallel now. So in other words, they're all connected up like this. And that means that they feed off of each other, and they'll equal each other out. So that's what I've done. My Innova is showing 3.01. I decided to get the Porta-Power out. I bought this months ago, and I kind of forgot about it when I got sick. It was still in the box. I discovered it a couple of weeks ago, still in the box, and I'd kind of forgot that I'd bought it. So it's kind of an expensive diagnostic tool. Right now I've got it hooked up in a way that it'll do the same thing the Innova does. But I highly recommend the Porta-Power because it will actually diagnose and do a lot of other things that the multimeter can't. But as I said, it's a little bit more expensive, but I'm glad I have it and can't wait to actually be doing some cool testing with this later on. So I've hooked it up, and hopefully the camera can see I've got 3.01 volt out of the Innova, and the Porta-Power, I don't know if the camera can see it, but it's 3.0299 volts. It actually measures a little bit deeper. It's got a bunch of other measurements, and none of those are working because I'd have to have a load on it. Amp hours, watt hours, amps, and all the rest. This sort of does that, but not all that stuff. But there's quite a difference. 3.0289, 3.01. Yeah, see, this doesn't go quite up that high as far as the numbers. This gives you more numbers, tenths, I guess, or milliamps or something, I don't know. But highly recommend picking one of those up if you can afford it. It's a very nice tool, and as I said, can't wait to be doing more experimenting with it. But for now, I need to disconnect all this stuff, and then I need to put these three banks, these three parallel banks, into series. So what I'll need to do is change my wiring around to configure it so that each bank is like flipped over, and it'll be a 3S pack in series, and that will give me the 12 volts. So we'll be right back to I'll go ahead and flip that around, and then we'll be back and we'll do one more measurement on the 12 volt pack. Okay, there we are. We're back in business. It didn't take me long at all to make that connection because I only needed 2 jumpers to put this 3S parallel pack into series. If that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like a big long flashlight. The batteries are in there one at a time, and that's series, and that's what gives you the voltage that you desire, and so forth and so on. So if this were fully charged right now, this would be giving me about 12.5 volts. Looks like the camera can see this okay. The Nova is telling me I got 9.4 because essentially this 12 volt battery is dead. And the ported power is telling me I got 9.0846 volts. So that's quite a bit of difference. And I'm assuming that the ported power is the most accurate of the two. If you go by price, I don't really know, but it will certainly bear some experimentation. So anyway, that's it. We now have our 12 volt battery. So now I will connect my solar panel up to these leads. I need to move this over to the 12 volt solar shed table that I have here in my house, and we'll get the solar panel put up in the window. I don't have any place to mount my solar panel outside. Well, I do, but I just stick it up in the window because I don't use it all that much. It's a 100-watt grape solar panel made here in Oregon. So it'll be connected up here, and we'll go set that up now because it's almost 5 a.m. and the sun it's actually starting to get a little daylight outside. But I want to wait until the direct sunlight till the sun's actually popping up, and I can monitor what the solar panel is doing as the sun hits it.